Are we live? Good morning, Monday morning, 10:34 a.m. And Moderna currently right now is trading at 147.24. I think a bottom level for Moderna really has been that 147 mark if you track it back. And if you track it back far enough, you'll see that it's come off of pretty high highs for where this stock has been. Many of us expected it to go to 200 easily. But now, with all these various movements that the stock market as a whole has been making, it's been giving a lot of us some pause. And so you've had GameStop and AMC making these movements again, really disrupting, I think, in some ways, our normal positions. People take money from Peter to pay Paul, and these things have effects. And through it all, we see here, now let's see, we've got Moderna. What's going to be a big deal to me is if it falls below 147 and stays there, which there's been a lot of weakness. This thing has been poking down and coming back up again. Pretty nerve-wracking when you've got a lot of faith in a stock and you see it doing that. My conviction tells me that this stock is going to go up no matter how you add it up. This is a great company. It's really positioned to do wonderful things on the mRNA platform, and to have it at this price is really a gift, I think, because later on people will be wondering, why didn't I buy at 147? And 147 really is a good price for Moderna. So if it drops a little bit more and you have it at 140, look, it didn't even go past the 147 level. Like I said, that's a pretty hard level for Moderna. I watched it today. It's broke up to almost 153 at one point, and I was on it. And I like to trade calls right now because I like to see the movements, the smaller movements, and I want to see as much possible gain as I can in those movements. Before you even get into any kind of options trading, you really have to have a strategy. So here we got below 147, 146.81 right now. We're going to see how long it sticks with that because honestly, I'm in the stock right now. And I like watching Meet Kevin. If you haven't seen him, he's a pretty good YouTuber, and there's a number of them. But like I said, I mean, I like to see, and we're going to get on Moderna's page here, because this is really about Moderna. I love Moderna as a company, and this is the one that we're pushing here in a positive way to see what Moderna's up to and what they're doing. So right now we're at 146.91, so it's coming back a little bit. If it falls below those support levels, I mean, it really could give some more room, and you might be able to pick this thing up at a 144, 145. Depending on, if you want to maybe add up buying the dip, that's always a great idea, especially if you're bought in already. You don't want to sell those because you'll be losing money and you'll be accepting the loss and you know it's coming back, so you'd feel foolish to do that. But at the same point, you might want to buy in more in the dip so that way you can level down, average down your overall investment. And, you never logically say, even for those who bought it lower, some people bought it lower. They bought it like at $50 and they don't want their average to go up. So they don't buy it at 147, even though for today, that's a pretty good dip. Right now it's at 147 again. Like I said, if it does fall below 147, the way I see it is it's going to bounce back out of that pretty shortly. As an options investor, if I don't see it moving around much, coming back to the 147 and making movement beyond that, then I know that it's time to sell my options at a loss, because that's the way options are. They have expiration dates unless you're in it for a more long term. For me, the way I've been leveraging my purchases on options have been pretty short term, because I want to get in, get as most as I can with the money I have, and get back out based on things that are happening right now. And so it's easy for me to do that with expirations coming up in the week on Friday. By doing early expirations, I've already accepted then that a lot of this intrinsic value has already been lost, so I can get as many shares as I can for the least amount of price possible. And but that only works, of course, if the stock is moving, if there's volatility in that stock. And Moderna, as we know, has a lot of volatility. So it's at 46.5 right now, and it's got a trend mark of moving down. I might just go ahead and accept the loss on this one at this point, and just go ahead and let it go, because it's really nerve-wracking when you have a pretty good stock that you're sitting on. You know it's going to do well, but then it starts doing these finicky things. And, you have to make a movement on it. You can't just sit on it while it's going down, especially if you're in options, because it might go down and never come back again. for that week, and you have an expiration. That's what you're really working up against. But for me, it's already psychologically, it's broke below my level, so I think I've had my fill. I'm going to go ahead and let it go. I'm going to try and I'm going to use it as a limit order. I'm going to put it in for a little bit above the bid and see how well it does. I don't want to be too greedy on this because it's you lose your mark. And plus, too, you want to watch that price. It fluctuates quick, and that could be for the good or for the bad. Right now, I'm going to be a little bit more conservative. We'll see how well that fills. I'm selling a $100 call at 148, and strike price. I'm sorry, 100 shares is what a contract is for. So, and I'll get into options with you guys. So if you're also interested in trading these options. And so, depending on what price you're getting it in at, it might move quick, it might not move quick. That's really dependent upon, I think it just sold. Let's see what happened here. I think I might be wrong. Yeah, it went ahead and filled. So I wasn't greedy. I got in at a price that I could live with. I'm still up for the day because I went into a Tesla position that brought me up. And so I'm just on Tesla today. It's been a hard hit for me. I lost $300 on Tesla on Moderna, because I believe in this stock. And when it goes down, I'm usually not willing to do puts. And if I do any puts, it's because I'm watching that line very closely, watching the charts and seeing the movements, knowing, hey, this thing is going to go down in a bit. Maybe I should go ahead and hedge this thing and try and make some movement back on the downside, not just the upside. That's risky, and I really don't suggest it. For the most part, what I suggest is just a calm strategy. Buy in the stock, believe in it, sit on it long term. This is going to go to the moon. If you're playing with options and you're not really used to it, or it's a new thing to you, you might get into a great stock like Moderna, lose everything you have, and yet the stock still goes to the moon. So you don't want to do that, especially with options. Those expirations are hard stops. If you get to the expiration and you're bought into that stock under the expiration, you're losing your entire investment. That's where it becomes worthless, especially if it's out of the money. Remember, that intrinsic value is really if the stock price is not moving, the only asset you really have is that intrinsic value. But once the stock price starts going up, that's when you see the movement, because you're holding 100 shares at that strike price. That's where the leverage really kicks in, because in order to buy 100 shares, otherwise it would cost you close to $15,000 at this price. So it's at 146.70. Again, I closed my option position on it just because I'm up for the day and I want to stay up. While anything can happen, there's a lot of volatility. It can even drop further. I don't want to take that risk, especially when I'm up already. I'm going to be grateful for where I'm at. I'm up right now 246 for the day, and that's great news for my portfolio. I'd rather be strategic about it, believe in the stock, get in at the right moments, and that's what I'm here talking to you about, these right moments. I mean, I really think if you're just purchasing the stock and you're not taking the same approach to the market as I am, then right now is an excellent time to get in. And now see, it's already back at 147.09, and it's an excellent time to get in and just kind of sit on. For me, I'm going to take a patient approach because I pick up these options. There's a lot to them. I want to see where this stock is going to grab onto something and start making some movements that I can predict. Right now, it's really hard to predict much, except for that the stock is always volatile and it's trending in a downward trajectory, except for right now at this very moment. It's 147.26, 20. So it's going up at this very moment. However, if you look at and I'm on the same screen as you are here. If you look at right here where it says order book level 2, you could see the green. That green is moving around and jumping around. It's like two snakes fighting each other, right? Like the dueling dragons. And you see the green side is in charge right now because it's got that wall and it's moving more towards the 147. And the more that wall moves towards that, it shows that the stock is likely to go lower, or it's possible it can go lower. However, on the other side, we see the buys, and that's the red. You would think it would be a little backwards, but the way it works out is just the way I'm telling you on here. And those buys are right now it's a pretty even race, and you see that the stock is going up, so it's at 147.45. And one of the things that's pushing this stock that gives that movement is because it's already at its low. It's got a lot of movement from this place already. So you could see, if you're looking at the chart here, and I'll just zoom in on it here for you so you could see it a little bit better. You see where it was at the bottom of that peak, and when it was there, it reached down to 140. Where's that one? No, that's not right. Move this up a bit here so we could see what it's saying. All right, so it was at 146.20 at its lowest point, and now it's picking back up almost at 148. Like I said, that was a great price to get in. If you did, kudos to you. If you're trading options, even kudos to you, because those are the kind of movements you want. I got out just because I was already up, and I'm going to take like I said from the beginning, a more patient and conservative approach. When I'm already up, there's no reason to bust that, when really the stock is hard to read at this point. So it's making a turn, so it's beginning a peak on the other end. Now, so what we should look at here is to see if this next valley, the place where it bottoms out, is it going to go lower than the last valley? And by the way, it might come down in stages. So you really got to be patient and to look at this chart and to decide where and when you're going to go ahead and strategically place your option order. And this specifically to options. I think if you're trading stocks, you should already be in this, sitting on it patiently, waiting for it to go to the moon, because that's really where it's going to head in the long run. You might see some of this volatility. Whatever the case, you should be oblivious to it. The only thing that should matter is when this stock goes down is to buy more, because what you need to look at is not right now. You need to look at in 10 years from now, when this stock is trading at maybe even 50x. The only thing you can do is look back on it and say, I wish I had bought more in the dips. So use those dips in order to buy more, and you'll be better off for it. I really believe that. All right, so moving on. As we know, a lot of people in the stock markets, any kind of positivity we're getting out of it is coming from a belief that the pandemic is lessening and its hold on the market, that people are beginning to feel more optimistic about things. And so that's what they're saying. That's what I've heard. And, you have to be a little bit safe with that regard. It's at 147.40 right now. So and it's actually, when it peaked up, it got up to 147.83. So now it's down to 147.20. That's why I said, all right, for me as an options holder, I'm just going to go ahead and step back and see what's happening with this thing so we get a better feel for things. Now, it seems like we're getting a better connection today than we got yesterday. Or no, I'm sorry, last week. Yeah, it shows our connection is good. I'm going to see what you guys are up to here, if I can pop in. And I won't do it on this one. I'll come over to, let's put this back to Moderna, and I'll use another window for what I'm doing here, because I'm coming into my own YouTube channel. Let's see, where did I put that at? Oh, it's over here. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to join you guys on the live channel so I could see what exactly is going on with you guys, how many of you are on, and can introduce yourselves. It's nice to meet you. I'm Keith. I often go by Happy Healer because I'm a very positive guy. And so let's see what we have here. I'm just going to the live section. I don't come on this all the time, so okay, that looks good. And it looks like a good and healthy stream. So that's positive. And thank you for the like. This is still a growing channel. So one of the things that I think is really important in investing is you got to have a plan, an attitude. You have to have the right timing. emotional fitness, and the skills to understand what's happening in the market when it's happening. You don't want to be fooled by foolish movements, not realizing. That's why I like to grab one stock like Moderna. It's at 147.47 right now, and it's just kind of zigzagging. So it's kind of locked in that box right there of anywhere between 146.5 to about 148.5, and it's staying in there for a little bit. Now it's come down off of its highs to do that, and you can follow along here. Well, this is last week, so we're gonna pull forward just a bit here. Really? Let's see. This was okay. This was recently. Yeah, so it was trading a little bit higher here, leading into the open, and it just sort of went right down. So that's what we're looking at. You know, in those after hours, that's a really dangerous place to be because it'll give you the impression that things are happening and that, you know, the stock might be going to the moon right then. And then the market opens and it changes its mind real quick. And so that's what you got to watch out for. On the upside is I really do think we're at a low level right here. I don't think it's going to get much lower. Like right now, 146.84. That's why I got out of this right now, because it's just a little too volatile for me, especially with the options tradings that I do. I have to be really keen to what is happening. I have to feel the movement. I have to see the trends. And it's not making trends that are worth getting in on these options. Thank God I got into Tesla earlier because I lost about $304 on my favorite stock, Moderna, this morning. And man, I'll tell you what, for a stock, when you love it so much, you just have to sort of realize maybe some of these conviction plays are better to buy the stock outright, sit on it for the time you know it's going to take, and watch it grow over time. Because any other way, you might get yourself burned. And that's why I said options trading is a way to get burned quick if you're not careful and you don't have a strategy going in. You don't have a plan and an attitude to be successful. You don't have your emotional fitness in order. Then what you'll find yourself doing is making foolish decisions. And I've gotten a lot better at that. And we all do. That's one of the things we have to challenge ourselves with. So there it is, 146.65. And you know, it doesn't matter if you buy the stock at 157 or 145 today, when in a couple years from now this thing is going to be 10x. Does it really matter? In the 10x time, when you see yourself in a couple years, would you wish back? Would you really mind much if you got it for the 155? Not really. So you have to think long term like that, and almost like you're time traveling. You know, feel yourself now in the moment and say, hey, wait a second, I was 2 years forward just a moment ago, and we were 10x. And now I'm back here. This is my moment of opportunity. This is the time when I can get in there. The moment of truth. Bam. You make that trade. You know you're doing the right thing because you know where it's going to be in a couple of years. That's what matters. Not where it's going to be next week or the week after, because you really don't know. I think it's at its lows. I don't think it's going to get much lower than where it's at. Considering all the fundamentals about this company, I don't think so. They're working very hard to be a 10x company. That's their plan. They're working very hard to put out new technological achievements in their medical, their approach for conquering disease. All of this stuff is really exciting for me because that's what I talk about all the time. I want to see the stock market work in a way where it's growing businesses, ideas, and it's giving humanity new ways and means, and bringing a futuristic approach to life that provides us new opportunities to live longer and be happier. Now, that's a lot to put on the market, but that's what the market should be doing, and that's what we should be supporting as investors. I think all citizens should be investors in the market, especially connected in a world like how we are now. That's how we break out of this situation that we're in, to be honest. So, I don't think anyone should get too caught up on whether it's one tick up or one tick down in this very moment if they're looking in the future the right way. That's really what counts, is that future. And when you love a stock like I love Moderna, I'm sure you feel the same affinity for Moderna if you're on Moderna Excels. Then get into it, watch it grow, buy into it in the dips when you can, Continue to keep your faith high and your conviction high based on fundamentals. Do your best to share the good news and sit on it and watch it grow. You don't have to be stressed over the small movements at any point. Look what happened last year when in March, when the pandemic first hit, the stock market went straight down, right? What did that really turn out for a lot of people to be? It turned out to be a great opportunity to buy. And for those people who that did buy, they made a lot of money. Some of them life-changing money in just that short period of time. Now imagine moving into the future that we have more people coming into the stock market because more people are connected, more people are online, more people are asking questions. What is that thing with the stock market? What are they doing? It's not a casino, though it feels like a casino at times based on the way people put their bets out. That's just what we'll call it, because they're doing a lot of guessing and a lot of pump and dumps. You see that with recently we had two of them doing that. Big ones, right? We had AMC for one and GameStop for another, just pushing to the moon, and no real fundamentals that I can see to back that. And it makes it really hard to gauge what the stock market is doing. So 146.38 is where Moderna's at right now. And when it does that, all you can do is just sort of shrug it off, get focused on the fundamentals. Don't watch what everybody else is doing in their stock market casino games, but stay focused on what the fundamentals are, because those are your stop losses. That's what's going to keep you moving forward. That's what's going to feed to your wealth in this stock, Moderna, and that's what we're talking about here. So Moderna is a great place to be. Again, the fundamentals, it's what matters. Everything else is just short-term casino gambling in a lot of ways. You can have an idea about what this stock might do, but that doesn't stock have to agree with you in a short term because of all this short-term speculation. There's just too much of that going on in order to really make a good sense of what's going to happen next, because people aren't thinking right. And that's one of the things I think that all of us need to come together on. How do we get each other focused on what matters? What matters to all of us? I know what matters to me. What matters to me is that we have a better life, that we're happier, that each and every person has value and purpose. In fact, I think that's where we should put all of our value in, realizing that we're investing in the stock market only to increase the happiness and value and purpose of the individual, and that the individual should be invested in the stock market and having choice in choosing which stocks do well, rewarding the companies that are serving back to the individual. I believe that strongly, and we all have to be working for that, or alternatively, we will not have it. And so I'll always be cognizant of that, and no matter how many people I reach out to or talk to or speak to about the stock market in a whole, it's under that premise that we should all be investors, and we should all be having a steady approach focused on the companies that are making a difference. Like Tesla, Elon Musk is an amazing entrepreneur for the reason that he's always asking the question, what do human beings need in order to have a better life and for the future? Things that other people are not doing. And by doing that, he got rewarded massively. He's the richest man in the world now because of that kind of thinking. There is no two ways about it. People have always predicted his fall. Oh, this man is way out in the left field. Nobody's going to follow him there. But they were wrong, because that left field was about progress and growth. And people understood that. They wanted to put their money to that. And other people want to get behind it and put their money to it too. And then the more the retail investor grew out of this movement, out of this internet growth, out of times changing, now more people are in the stock market. That's one of the reasons why it's going up. People say, oh, well, why is it going up? There's no reason for this. Very simple. There's more people buying. Volume has gone up in the stock market. Now, what I think more volume should be coming in, because it's growing more. We haven't seen the end to more people saying and paying attention and looking and realizing that the stock market is a way now, unlike before, for the small man to get a lift up if he does things right, if he pays attention. In the future, everything's going to be different if we do things right. And that's what I'm focused on. And I say, how do I invest in that? In the future, we're going to have an income for all. People balk and they say, why is there going to be an income for all? We don't need that, especially people that have money. They don't realize the positive gains that comes out of that. The being focused on the fact that changes are happening so rapidly that robotic technology and artificial intelligence is taking on a lot of these other jobs that required people to do before. And not only do they take over those jobs, they do it better. And so what happens to people then? And oftentimes the market, and the way I call this, we live in greed hell. What happens often is then that the market totally forgets that those people have value at all. And they say, oh, well, this guy, he's a wasteful eater. He doesn't serve any purpose. And that's how they look at it. I look at it completely different. I say we need to help people get incomes that are not working because they've been basically worked out of the work field. Various technologies have disrupted the way things are done. We can't just let those people fall. We have to support them up. We have to give them a leg up. That's what is looking at human beings as having the value. Realizing that every person has innate value, has a reason for living. And so that's why I say in the future, I totally see the stock market being a great mechanism for growing the changes that we require, need, and want. And that the government backs that up by providing an income for all through the Federal Reserve, if need must be, and that all things grow together. And that income for all is actually paid to people in the form of the stock market. Maybe stock market dollars, or maybe just various indexes, and those people can pull that money out, do what they need to do, or invest more in it. But one thing is for sure, when you have those things coming together and bringing all people to the investor market, then amazing things will happen. The market will continue going up and in one direction. The great companies will always be doing well. That's the kind of market that I want to see come out of this. And I'll talk about these things even on the Moderna Excel's page, because I really believe that Moderna is part of this plan, that we have these sicknesses and we're suffering. We have people that we love around us. They're dying. I just lost my brother recently. People are suffering from illnesses and unfortunate situations that could be overcome with new technologies. I mean, this thing is amazing. It reprograms the cells in the human body. So let's say you're having a vision problem. Instead of having to have a surgery, you can have a tweak. And that if you understand the fundamentals of nature itself, that we are all basically electrical beings, that everything's happening on a small scale, building larger organisms, you know that that's possible. And it's exciting. There might be a day where you don't even have to go to the dentist anymore because you get a simple vaccine that retrains your cells in your teeth to regrow. Just like when you had your first set of teeth and it made your second set, perhaps we can turn on a third set where you get a brand new set of teeth. These are the kinds of technological achievements I want to see. I want to see us going from being able to live to 80 and 90 to being able to live to 130. Now, doing that means we're going to have a larger population and things are going to be growing, but that's not bad. When you figure out new ways and you conceive of ways to survive that's in tune with nature rather than against nature, then the sky's the limit. You can go further and you have more room for growth. The way we're doing things now is very backwards. We're putting profit before progress, and that's because the market's not working properly. And that's because I said it earlier, I consider us living in like a world of greed hell. Greed is controlling everything. Profit over progress every single time. Never mind what we're going to do in 10 or 15 years. I want my money now. I want to protect my money. I'm throwing it in gold. I'm going to put it in Bitcoin. I'm going to put in all these things, and the hell with growth. The hell with everyone else. Just me, 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 me. All I have to say to those folks is, look, let's say it all does go to a hell in a handbasket. You didn't do your part to make things better, that's for sure. So where we're at, thank yourself, you helped us get there. If it were to ever come true. And it's possible. We can go in a bad situation. So you always should have plans for that. But don't think you're going to be able to live your little life in your nice little house with your Tesla car and with your all your little, your gold storage, that everything's going to be great for you. Because when you have all these other desperates, you're going to have a Mad Max environment. They're going to come steal from you. So whatever you have is great for the people who come steal from you. Don't count on Bitcoin to be around in that time. I mean, you won't have a stable internet. You won't have anything stable. And if things get that bad, you don't want to be planning for that. Because really that's like the death situation. Why would you plan for something? It's like conjuring in this thing. You don't want to conjure up the worst. We want to plan for the best. We want to realize what is the best. And that's focusing on like a lot of what investors have been doing. And I credit this to a lot of younger investors too, because they realize they're young, they're going to have a long life, and they see the mistakes that are being made. Some of them don't realize the difference, but that's why there's those of us that do. We talk about it, we try and share this information because it's so paramount. And people are clueless to the fact that if they're only focused on their own greed, they're missing a very big part of the us aspect of what we're all supposed to be doing together in the market so that our individual lives can be better. And that's exactly what we've seen when we've seen it happen in like Tesla. Look at Kevin. Look at Kevin alone. His longest and his most profitable holding has been Tesla. It worked out. Tesla has worked out better for Kevin than any of his real estate deals. That's where he got started in real estate. It worked out better than all of his other positions in the stock market. People sometimes often criticize him for being too heavy on Tesla. I certainly do not. Look how well it's worked for him. Tesla just got me out of the hole today, in fact. So we got Moderna at 146.39. Let's go back and look at what Tesla's doing right now. Tesla, oh, okay, so Tesla's at 710. Had I stuck with it, I would have made a little bit more. I got out about 705. You don't want to be too greedy when you're getting in these things short term, because you got to get back out again at some point. You better choose the right point. If you have an option that is expiring on Friday and you get so greedy because it's spiked up and you say, oh, it's going to double up on that, well, then it might come back down and never go back up again before it expires. It's the mission is how high can you get it before the expiration. That's a very finicky game, especially when your expiration is Friday. I mean, if you're pulling up options and you're going for a year, 2 years in a distance, like a lot of people do, and it takes deep pockets to do that, then maybe you could think, well, not maybe, you definitely are thinking differently. And so that's what I'm focused on, is how I can get in without losing money, get back out, make a little bit of money, and do better than as if I was sitting in the stock consistently. And that I have my money available for other things if I need it. And that I'm taking every measure I can to protect that wealth. Because that wealth, for whatever it is, and each one of us it's different, is all we have in this world. And we want to be doing the best things we can for our own lives, but also focusing on the bigger picture and having a relationship with other people, talking about what matters. So that, with this relationship, for example, right now, I'm just going to send you guys a message on here. And I just want to remind you guys, I'm Keith, your happy healer lover. That's what I am. Don't ever get embarrassed by that. I'm so proud of being a happy healer. I think that if you ever wanted to learn more on what that means when I say that, I have a channel dedicated to that. And it's just a belief that we should all be in this together for a better future. That when we take our mind off of that and we start thinking too individually, which I say too greedy, then our lives don't become better. And certainly not that's not a plan for everyone. If everyone is greedy, then what happens? Then everybody drops together, no matter what, we're doing this together. So, and I want to be a part of the solution. and make money on that. That's what's so great about, and I was just saying a moment ago, Tesla. When you get part of the solution, other people jump on board. Now you're going straight to the moon. And I mean, the unbelievable wealth that comes out of that. Look at, again, Kevin. He's a good example for this. He started with much less. His parents didn't have a lot. He came here from Germany and he was able to build up his wealth. I mean, if you look at it, and he's open about it, over $20 million in stocks. And he's also got a large portfolio in properties. And he's buying this stuff on credit, watches it, it grows. He's really excited about the changes he's seen in his own life. Good for Kevin. I don't know if that would work for everyone, but definitely a lucky guy, smart guy. Everything worked out well for him. But what did he focus on mostly? Believing in the American dream, believing that it's possible, and putting his attitude towards it. Like a moment ago, I spoke about plan, attitude, timing, emotional fitness, and the skills to succeed. And he was able to uniquely apply those, however, not in the old-fashioned way, where you're just invested in old-fashioned companies and focus too much on profit, not on progress. And we see that people, while those stocks have grown, they haven't nearly grown as much as how Tesla has grown. And so I think being focused on the future in a really positive way. Some people would say like all in. I'm all in for the future. Let's face it. I'm all in for the future because all people, they matter to me. I'm a single guy that, I don't really particularly think of myself as belonging to any one person. Like in a marriage, you would say, oh, well, my other half and me, this is our pinnacle. We belong to each other the most before anybody else. I think that's okay for people who do it. It's not really my modality of living life. I want everyone to matter, and everyone really does matter and has so much purpose and value in this world, and I want to reward that. And when we remember that we all have so much purpose and value, everything goes up because that's the overall morale. Just like when you have two warring nations, especially in the past, people were fighting, combat man to man. Like the Greeks were a very strong fighting force. When you have high morale, and the Romans, they were very organized, and the other side doesn't have that morale, it doesn't matter that if you have even less people fighting on your side, you still win. That's what high morale is. Where's the morale in the American soul right now? Where is that? I don't think it's doing as well as it should be, not even nearly. Even though there's a lot of people that are so ready for and tuned up for wanting to do well, and the young people, thank God for them, that they are also tuned up for wanting to do well. There's still a lot of these ugly forces, and I always accredit it to greed. Greed is such an ugly force. It takes away so much that is possible. It's such the bear is a greedy guy, right? Because he's always just mine. And not believing in the future, not believing in the optimistic view. Greed will always have you, or sometimes it has you saying, I'm going to the moon, but I'll go there by myself. You see a lot of people that say that. I don't agree with that at all. It turns me off. It makes me want to get far away from it because that's everything that I'm against. And I know how much it hurts us. And the more people that realize that and share that message, the better off we'll all be. Think about it. The more people that realize our value, the human value, the more the stocks will go up, because the stocks are a representative force serving back to the human soul. And when we're behind it saying, we choose you, company, we're people who matter, we choose you to serve us, and we're putting our hard work money into this, we believe in it. It's going to go to the moon. That company is going to serve back to the people in the ways that it should, and we're all going to grow. That's what I want to see the stock market doing, not this crazy greed. Greed is going to drive us straight to hell, and I believe 100% in that. And so again, it's just plan, attitude. What are you trying to get out of this? And that's my attitude as a happy healer. I want to see everybody do well. I want to see more and more people investing in the stock market. I want to see single mothers invested. I want to see everybody invested. I want to see children invested. We all should be invested in the stock market, and we should all be choosing the winners, and we should all be moving that forward. Stocks should only ever go up, really, in a happy healer world, because we're working for a better future and we're working so fast for that. That's what I want to see. And the market can do that. The market can work so fast for a positive difference. If we're all coming together and we're all working in the right attitude, we have the right timing, we have the right emotional fitness, and we have those skills. So don't just jump into it ugly and not realizing the difference, because you will get burned quickly. All right, right now we have Tesla 1715. By golly, I wish I was still in it. It's okay. Like I said, you just get in, you do your thing. Now look, 147.13 for Moderna. It's just what it is. Like I said, it's going to sit at that for a while, which is better than where it was a moment ago. It was down to 146.60. So it dropped and came back up a bit to 147.16. 147.04. We'll go back to Tesla. You know, one thing that I don't understand or don't really agree with what I say. I mean, I know a lot of other stocks and I'm familiar with a lot of other stocks and I talk about a lot of other stocks, but I think it's far more advantageous to be really focused in on and each person could have this like their favorite company that they want to see do well. They have reasons for it. They know why. And they get used to how that company moves. And so you can make money on it when it's going sideways, when it's going down, when it's going up, just because you're so in tune with that company. I could tell you, though, it doesn't feel good to put puts on a company you believe in. It doesn't feel good to do that. But if you're thinking logically and you're realizing that these back and forth movements like we see here, we're going to open it up a bit. Like if you could have caught it on this first dip right here and you invested in it, you know it's probably going to peak off right about where this last peak was at 147.73. So you get in here with some options, 146.20, and you get out here 147.83. Now it's going to be hard to always catch it at its very top of the peak, and you don't want to try and sell it while it's going down because that's what everyone's doing. So you kind of guess it right at about a little bit below the last one. So the last one was at 147.73. Then here I would say 147.50 to 147.60. Be out of this thing. So let's say then you'd sell it there, right? 147. I was doing this on Friday and it worked well. And then it might go up a little bit more, but inevitably it comes back down because it's following this trend. And now, you know it's coming down. The question is, do you put a put on it? It's a stock you love. Do you put a put on it that's like betting against it just because you know it's going to go down? It's the trend. It can't help itself. It's what it does. It's like us. We breathe. It's just the way the stock market breathes. And do you follow it? I'd say sure if you know that's what it's going to do. Now, it's really going to hurt to lose money on a put. So you better believe in what it's doing. You better know and better understand the stock. That's why I say don't try this on stocks that you don't know well. It's a stock that you understand super well. And so I was doing this on Friday. So then once I see that it falls back below that entry point, I might pick it up at 147 to 147.50, let's say, and then ride it back down. And, probably I wouldn't catch it all the way down, but I would catch it somewhere decent. And it's just like scalping a little bit off of each movement. And you get out well before it ever, gets to its peak. That saves you from losing everything in a single shot, which I have seen even in my own investments. It's not fun. So that's why doing this could work out very well. But you should always have your safety measure in place. So let's say, again, you pick it up down here. Now you realize, oh, wait, it's going up again. So you catch it, and then you ride it back up for another $1. And again, in options, if you buy one option contract, that's 100 shares. So those 100 shares now are like as if you just bought $14,000 in Tesla, and then you sold it a moment later when you seen that it was up $1. And so that's $100 up just right there. And you could do well doing that. You'd be very, very... one thing you have to make sure of, you don't have unlimited number of trades when you're working in these apps like Webull and basically all of them, Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, all of them are like this. And you don't have the freedom to do as many trades as you want. So you have to either have $25,000 in your account, then you're set free. You can go back and forth and play the market as often as you like. And I really think that gives you a lot of movement to make decisions that you couldn't otherwise make. Because if you waste those trades, you run out and now you can't make your trades. And so they limit you to 5-day trades within a period, right? I think it's, I don't know, I'm not too concerned with it because I move around, but I think it's within a 5-day period. And so if you get too many of those, then they label you as a pattern day trader, which means they're going to demand that you put back into the stock another however much money you have in there, the difference between that and $25,000. And that's a very hard thing to keep up for a lot of people. So if you do the alternative, which is opening up several accounts, and this is also good because sometimes one platform is down over another platform. And then you have the options to move around. You can go from Webull to Robinhood to TD Ameritrade to the next one. And that gives you some flexibility. Now, one of the other things a lot of people don't realize is you can have more than one account in the same platform. So like on Webull, for example, I have 2 accounts. I think they max it at 2. But here, you can go to TD Ameritrade, and I have 2 accounts there. You can go up to, I believe, as many as you want on TD. So think about that. Each one of these accounts are capped at 5-day trades, but you can trade your money in between these accounts as long as it's in the same company, the same broker. You could wire, basically instant transfer your money from one account to another, your stocks as well, and just move from one account to the next when you're approaching that limit, so you never go over it. Now, depending on how many day trades you do, you'll still run out of day trades. So again, I think doing the options, you could have a more, you can have like a today approach. Look, I'm going to get in today and get out today. And honestly, I think the way the stock market's moving right now, that's the only way I'll do it. I mean, in options, it's too risky that something really horrible can happen in the next week right now. Doesn't it feel like that? Too many bad things are going on. And I mean, there's a lot of good things too, but too much volatility, and it's not as easy to dictate, or not dictate, but guess where things are going to be. So that's why I take that safe approach. Like, look at now, you have Moderna under 147. That's at 146.80. And in my mind, this stock should be trading at 200 plus right now. So when the stock market's doing that, I say to myself, hey, look, just get out of it completely and wait for better times to kick back in, or get in your favorite stocks because you're just buying stocks only and hold them for a long time. That's a great deal. Hold them for a long time. You'll always be well doing that. In fact, I'm going to make a note of that. There you go. And that's another option. I think that's the best option of all. Patience and conviction. Like it says, it goes back to plan, attitude, timing, emotional fitness, and skills. You just have all those together. And if you do, and you're doing the best thing for yourself, you don't want to be like me, hovering over it and doing different things and coming back. And you just want to go get busy, do your life, and in a year, come back and look where you're at. I really think then that, the best option is to get into a stock you believe in, like Moderna, and hold it for a long time and buy on the dips. Now's a good time to buy. But when you're me, and the way I'm in it right now with it, which is with these options, I'm looking at the volatility, and it's not normal volatility where it's good volatility. With options, there's good volatility too. But right now, I mean, it can go to hell in a handbasket overnight, over the next week. Look at what's happened in the past 2 weeks. This week is supposed to be different, so people say, but it could change. And so you have to be careful. That's all I'm saying. Be careful. Money matters only to the extent that, you have to eat, you have to have a roof over your head, you have to make smart decisions, and you don't want to put yourself in a risky position in those ways. Myself, I mean, like I said, I'm a single guy. And I have every intention of going around this country, sharing my love, sharing my experiences, growing as a human being with other people. They're my family, and I'm their family. And people sometimes they love that message, and then there's those who balk at it. They're like, "Whoa, you mean that's how you look at people?" And those who balk at it, I say, look at your reaction. Doesn't that tell you something? That's why I do what I do. I don't see the sense in just marrying one person and doing the hell with everyone else. I'm married to everybody. I love people, and I believe in people. These are God's creation. I know we could do so well together, and I believe in the optimistic view of what is possible. That's why I believe in forward-thinking companies. Maybe in the medical industry, young people that are so fit, they never see death coming, they never see hard times coming in their health. They don't think about how important it is to have new technology to make our bodies vibrant. And that's what I'm saying. Don't get foolish. Focus on those things. The best, don't do like I'm doing unless you want to be a little bit more. I mean, this could be very well, and it could have quick outcomes, and you could grow wealth quickly the way I'm doing things. But it can also go bad quick too. And you learn a lot. And usually taking this kind of approach, it costs you to become better. It costs you to learn more. It costs you to gain more of the skills and understand how the emotional fitness works within these fast movements to not get overburdened in your positions. And who wants that? When alternatively you could be playing with your children, experiencing life, visiting and going places. As a single guy, I approach things a little differently. You can see I'm in my car right now. I have a minivan. This is a Dodge Caravan. In here I've managed to put this office where I have great internet. I actually bring together a couple of internets. I pulled out all the seats, even the passenger seat on the right over here. And it's allowed me to put a big, huge lithium battery, the same batteries that they're putting in Teslas, for example. And I hook up my inverter to that. I put sun panels on the roof, and that's my electricity. And I have a bed here, nice, big, comfortable foam bed. And it's on a platform that I built it all myself, a wooden platform that opens up. There's storage underneath. It's perfect. I carry water. I have all different abilities to deal with human needs, male human needs, which are a little different than female human needs, but generally the same. But what a male can get away with, for example, is a little bit more than a female can when it comes to relieving yourself, number two. And that's important, right? For a guy, he could just use a jug very conveniently, even in a situation like this. So that's why I'm saying it's a little bit different for a female, although it's completely possible. Then, of course, I have a little refrigerator over here. It's quite big, actually. I put about as much in there as that I ever put in my big refrigerator back at the house. And I have my food in there, everything I'm cooking that I'm living off for the week. And I have a microwave. I usually use a lot of microwaves, and I'm going on a diet right now because, this is why I believe so much in the future and how we should be investing in companies. Like me, I used to work out as a weightlifter, great body, worked really hard to achieve a muscular physique. But then, when you hurt your back like I did, and you can't move around as much, then you start putting on some weight, things start catching up with you. And that's when you start realizing we're not like putting enough attention on human health, really. We're taking the good times for granted, and we're like a deer in a headlight with the bad times. And it shouldn't be like that. So that's why I'm focused on what's right for all of us. Like I said, I recently had a brother who passed away, and there could have been so much more in terms of options and ability for him to survive. And I'm going to be sharing that story, not on this channel, but in my life. And you know my name. I'm going to try and keep these things a bit separated. Moderna is about Moderna, and generally what I'm speaking about is about Moderna, because these things that Moderna is doing are going to improve life on all these levels. I mean, we're talking about reprogramming the human cells. Imagine, I mean, they're not saying it, but think even beyond what they're saying. They're saying cancer and HIV. Yeah, these are immediate things that people connect to, and they say, oh, wow, that's amazing. That's really a point where I could see my wealth growing doing this or that. But what they're not talking about is even the things beyond that that are also true. You can have new teeth, like I said, for example. If you have bad teeth, you can grow new teeth, perhaps with this kind of technology. You have ailing conditions, you can overcome those. All you do is program that cell and things get to work. Isn't that amazing? That's how the human body works. We're like a mini factory on the smallest level, coming out, building to a huge organism. Everything that's working together. We're such an amazing creature. We're not a creature. We're God's creature, right? Sure. And that we're tapping into the best of what we can do in order to improve those lives. Now, a lot of people who believe in God, they kind of balk at that. Oh, leave that up to God. No, God has given us these abilities and expects us to use them to improve our lives. And, look how many people are dying on the streets and they have nothing and they have nowhere to go to. That's what I'm concerned about. And so, again, this is a company that I believe will go to the moon and will answer things like this. So I'm 100% behind it. I believe in what they're talking about, and I'm pushing what they're talking about. And I have reasons that are sound because we all matter and we all have purpose and value. I don't want to be invested in companies or even excited about companies that aren't answering those questions. All right, so again, I have my microwave. I have a stovetop for cooking. I also have an oven. All this in a Dodge Caravan. So possible. And then you don't even have any bills and you can move anywhere you want in the country. Right now I'm in Florida and I'll be going around the country, learning more, seeing more people, visiting, different things that are important to my soul and growth. I could only imagine what that future holds. And Moderna Excels will be here, as well as my other channels that I do. And I'll try and share those as we get going. Right now, I haven't been making videos for the past year and a half or so in my other channels. So that's kind of picking back up. I recently had my bus burned down, and I had a big setup just like this, but in a bus. And it was really nice. And it burned down on me, unfortunately, during COVID. It was in June of last year. So I was with COVID coming in because I was running for president, actually. And I had my campaign coaches, the way I looked at it, and just getting ready to take off and it burns up, and it just was all bad timing. And so I'm just resetting the stage to do special things. Doesn't mean even like running for president. Oh, so big. The way I look at it is these candidates are so condescending. They can't tell us what value we have. We know our value. We want to see our value get to work. And they're getting in the way of it because they sell us off too cheap. And so that's where my mind is in all of this. And what I didn't do very well before is I had my main channel and I was all over the place with it because I would have all these different interests that I'm in. And so with Moderna now, and I'm very excited about what the company's doing, I keep it directly for Moderna. And we'll stay focused on that. And then in these other channels, we'll do it the same way. And whatever other exponential, happy healer discoveries we might learn along the way is exciting, but it's not about that. It's about Moderna. And so stay focused with us as Moderna grows. Let's see where it's at right now. Like I said, 147, it's really just kind of sideways with a little down tick at points. Sideways, down tick, sideways, down tick. And that's the threat with this stock right now is that at any point the floor can fall out and it might come down to 143, 144, or at any moment it can go up. I think there's more pressure moving it down. Like when it was pushing up back, I would say 2 weeks ago, it had this momentum that no matter what it did, every time it moved down, it would just regain back to where it was. That was a nice, healthy approach. I loved it at that point. But earlier today, I was looking at the 150 mark saying, is that where it's going to cut off? Is it going to stay hold there at 150? And I really didn't know too much whether it would. I was bought into it. I had some options, but when I seen the trend change, I got out quick. And that's smart. Had I not got out in the right moments, I would have lost my butt on Moderna today. Even though I lost some money, I didn't lose my butt. And I gained back, and today's an up day because I also got into a side trade with Tesla, which right now, by the way, is trading at 7.11, 7.12. See how quickly it changes around? It was at 7, almost 16 just a moment ago. And, you know, even that, you watch it. I think Tesla's on a great swing for getting in there for some swing trades. But you know what? You need money for that, and you need the ability to have as many trades as you need to get through those, because you can't be limited. Otherwise, that's a really bad strategy. Just do like most people do: buy into the stock, hold it. You love the stock, you know where it's going. You know, and we talk a lot about on the channel about all the reasons why you should be invested in Moderna and the exciting reasons and what's possible out of it. Stay focused on that stuff. It's far better, far more advantageous. All right, folks, I did want to come on today and just have a little bit more of a powwow with you about Moderna and about who I am and what I am about when it comes to this stock, and about why I'm so bullish on it, and about why I'm so behind it. And it's because of what it means for humanity. That is as simple as it gets. What it can do for you, what it can do for me, what it can do for your mother, what it can do for all of us. That's why I'm in it. And that's why we should be in any stock. What can it do for us? What is that stock doing to make our lives better? That's how I want to invest. If I'm going to get into a company, I don't want to get into it just so that I can grow my money wealth. I want to grow humanity. And that's what the stock market should be about. When it's working right, that's what it should be doing. All right, God bless you guys. I'll be back soon. I love you all very much. You know that's the truth. And this is Moderna Excels, and I'm your happy healer lover. God bless. Talk to you soon. Bye.